As a real estate agent, this one thing bothers me the most. It's hearing that nearly everyone who buys a home regrets some aspect of it. Maybe it's the bad neighbors or the unexpected costs or just simply buying the wrong home. But the one regret that really gets me is homeowners who regret not doing their homework or being ill-informed before purchasing a home. So stick around as I'll be breaking down the most common regrets homeowners are having and more importantly, giving you practical solutions on how to avoid them before it's too late. With the majority of home buyers feeling some sort of regret, feeling a sense of just not being informed, having a good realtor is essential. But if you want a great one, my team is here to assist. Whether you're buying your first home, selling your property, looking to invest, or just need some expert advice, we got you covered, or we can help you find the right realtor in your area. So if that's you, click the link in the description for a free consultation with myself. So I'm sure you've heard this many times from other realtors, is that location, 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 location is key, right? We're hearing buyers buy a home and then they didn't factor in how far the drive from work was or how far, the kid's school is, or even worse is when you buy a property and then you didn't realize that a 300 unit condo building's going in beside you. And now you got to listen to construction for the next 5, 10, you know, even more years, depending on how big the development is. Not good. The next one I hear is buying a house too small. And I think this one can catch a lot of people off guard. You might be thinking less to clean, less to maintain, more affordable. I actually don't need that much space. But have you seen the stuff that you have? Have you looked in your storage locker lately? Don't worry, I'm just as guilty too. Or I see when I'm hosting an open house, right? People are feeling it. They're excited. It feels cozy, right? They're feeling good. But then a couple months go by and the novelty is worn off. You find yourself outside more. Or you have one or two more kids than you originally thought. And now you got bunk beds stacked to the ceiling. You got the youngest who's in the closet. The middle child, you've forgotten about the middle child. So you don't even know where he's at. You just got a lot of stuff. Then you have the bad neighbors, right? They're yelling at you for taking their parking spot when clearly it's marked city parking. Or they're having parties till late in the night, keeping your kids up. And now you got to go out there in your underwear and go yell at them. Or my personal favorite is when your neighbors leave a passive aggressive note on your front doorstep talking about your weeds and how they're just wrecking up their showcase lot. Neighbors, I hope you're not watching. And before I share these easy actionable steps that you can do to prevent these regrets, I want to talk about just a few more regrets that you need to be aware of, and then we'll get into solutions on how to avoid these. I'm curious, so what about you? Do you have any regrets or problems or just things you didn't like during the home buying process? Because if you do, put them in the comments. I'm curious to know. They didn't understand the total cost of home ownership. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to buying a home. There's fees that you may not be aware of, right? Home inspection, lawyer fees, realtor fees, just to name a few. And then you have costs that are associated to the home, right? You got the mortgage, the property taxes, strata fees, special levies, utility bill, insurance, gas, electricity. You need to be aware that stuff breaks. And to fix some of these things can cost you some money. So I see why this one would be frustrating, would be annoying, because again, how are you supposed to know? You never owned a home before. So I get it. The market shifted and now you regret buying. This was a huge issue not so long ago during COVID. Some people lost or gained a lot of money during this time. And I can understand, there was a frenzy of people who had a fear of missing out. People or other realtors telling them, you better get in before it's too late, right? You're gonna miss the boat, which led to a lot of these people making the wrong decisions. Because look, you don't have to buy a home. Life is not all about buying a home. And now of course, there's benefits to buying one, but the last thing you want to do is buy because you feel pressured or you have a fear of missing out. And this one hurts me the most. Homeowners not doing their homework or talking to the right professionals about buying a home. Like, I don't even know why this one is here. You are the one buying the home. No one is going to care as much as you, so you need to be prepared. But I do have sympathy. You're not going to know or understand everything. So you need a professional, but you should at least have a full understanding of the consequences of your actions. Whether that's you doing your own homework or talking to 2, 3, 4, 10 realtors until you find the one that actually cares, that has the facts you're looking for, so that you can make an informed decision. But unfortunately, that's hard to do as well, because there is just professionals that just don't care as much or just assume buyers should know, so they don't ask questions. It's just sad. Now that we've gone over the more common regrets, problems that are out there for home buyers, I want to show you some easy, actionable steps that you can do to avoid a lot of these problems, a lot of these regrets. So let's get into it. When it comes to the location of a home, it is important that you get it right and that you understand and are informed of all the things that are happening around the house. As when it comes to a home, essentially you can change a lot of these problems, right? Things that you don't like within the home, you can change them. But when it comes to the location, it's next to impossible to change. My advice would be go drive to and from work from the new location, right? You got kids in school. Well, I'll wake up a little earlier, drive to the house that you're thinking about buying, then drive to school and see how long it takes you. And one of the bigger points is go talk to the city, go talk to your realtor about future developments that are happening in your area. Then when it comes to noise level, traffic out front, go visit the property at peak hours on weekends. See what it's like. And a pro tip would be go knock on the neighbors, the house across the street. Ask them about the area, the traffic, the noise. Who better to know than someone who has lived in the house next door for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Don't sleep on that. I've knocked a lot of doors and most people are happy to help. When it comes to buying a small house, this one usually comes about when people are in a rush or have a fear of missing out. The amount of times I've seen people stop by an open house, rush in, rush out, and they're only there for like 5 minutes. It's kind of crazy. Like, slow down, spend your time in the place, check around. And if you're not giving yourself enough time, then you're not planning properly. For me, I'd measure out the space that I'm currently living in, right? Make a list of what you're looking for, and then compare it to the properties that you're looking at. See if it's a good fit. See if it'll work with your situation. And if you're a younger family that's going to have kids or is in the process of having more kids, factor that in as well. Now, I realize not everyone can buy a house with extra rooms, right? You may not just have the funds for that. But having a plan in place and knowing the exact amount of space you're going to need and knowing exactly, what you're going to do as the family grows is key. And when it comes to bad neighbors, this truly is a hard one, as you could be living in this house for 7 years, and over those 7 years, you could have, two different neighbors on the left-hand side, one different neighbor on the right-hand side. So it's hard to avoid. My advice on this one, at least when you initially move in, is just go door knock the 20 neighbors around. Get a good idea of who's all there, what people have to say about each other, because chances are there's one person that just knows everything about the neighborhood. Trust me, like I said, I've knocked on a lot of doors. There's always one person in the neighborhood that just knows everything. Or you could be like my dad, who just wants to, to live in the boonies with his 500 acres, cabin, river. You'd have no neighbors then. Problem solved. Then we have not understanding the full cost of home ownership. To me, this one is completely avoidable. Just requires you doing some homework early on. So my thoughts on this is go talk to someone who has what you want. So if you want a condo, go talk to someone who's lived in a condo for 5 years. You want a townhome? Same thing. Go talk to them. See what the costs are like and associated to buying that type of property. And then when it comes to detached house, same thing. Go talk to people who have done what you want to do. Who better to understand the full cost of home ownership than someone who's lived in what you're wanting? Or you could talk to a real estate agent that specializes in those types of transactions. Again, they're going to know what you need to know. Because when the dishwasher goes, the furnace, or you have some special levy bill you didn't read the depreciation reports on, it gets frustrating. I get it. So you need to know these things. The market shifts and now you regret buying. Look, buying a home is a serious matter. And when I hear people who bought a home and then the market shifts not in your favor, it shouldn't be a surprise. Because from now on until forever, the market will always be changing. And if you're not okay with that fact, maybe you shouldn't be buying a home. Or it's even more ridiculous is someone who knows exactly where the market is going and they pressure you or they convince you that it'll be fine. If you've heard that yourself or you hear people saying that, they are lying to you. Nobody knows what the market's gonna do. We have educated guesses, historical data, that we can reflect on. And that's pretty much it. Because if we all do, you and I, we'd be millionaires. So my advice on this is if the mortgage broker or the banker says you can afford it, and more importantly, you are comfortable with the mortgage payments and have a little bit of reserves just in case it goes up, then you are fine. Because after living in a home for more than, let's say, 5 years, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be worth more than you paid for it, and you'll be happy. Buyers not doing their homework or the professionals not fully informing them. This one frustrates me as well, and it shouldn't be here. My advice on this one is you need to get educated, and you shouldn't buy a home until you feel fully confident in doing so. Buying a home is a big decision, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. This is why you need the correct facts and information from individuals who have done what you want to do. Talk to professionals that you trust or have the knowledge that you need, and most importantly, take your time. It's not like you wake up one day and all of a sudden you want to buy a home. This usually happens over months, if not a year. So do your homework. If you're feeling overwhelmed or worried about making the wrong decisions, take a deep breath. You have the power to avoid these common pitfalls by doing your research, asking the right questions, and leaning on trusted experts that can guide you through the entire process. And if you've dealt with any of these regrets, or if you have some tips or advice, please share your experience in the comments so that other people can learn. And while you leave a comment, I'm going to go fly some drones.